Thank you for having me today on this interview. You see, I first of all, I don't think I have done anything phenomenal so far. So I always feel I'm still on day one of our and my growth. Every day is a new day for me. The moment I wake up, I always think, what should I achieve today? And tomorrow, again, my daily routine starts. I feel success is not a one-stop destiny. It's a journey which is lonely yet spiritual, and it is lonely yet rewarding with risk and commitment. So I feel success is a journey which is a never-ending process. I feel today if I walk 10 steps, that's my success. Tomorrow I have to walk 20 more steps. That's going to be my goal. So your goal versus success is something you define every day. So once a person has the satisfaction that he has already achieved so much, that person cannot do more. That is why we as human beings should have greed for success and for achievements and for reaching our goals. Greed in monetary way is not good, but greed for success is always the best for oneself to face more and more hardships and goals. Having said that, I am a person of compassion and showing compassion because that's what I feel makes every one of us rich. Because this is what I have learned from my own parents, and I always believe and strongly believe that loneliness is always a poverty because I have experienced this in my childhood. I was put through the lonely period of time and lonely events, not because I don't have money or anything, at school and in my village and wherever, but it is due to the perceptions of the people and the stigma that people showed around me, made me the poorest child in this world. That's because I was absolutely lonely until I have achieved whatever I want to. So that is why I have decided myself that I'm going to fight against this loneliness of poverty and make people richer and make people happier and create inclusive world for all of us to live in. See, I also believe that if you try to do something better, you will be the first beneficiary. And that's exactly what I've been doing, and I am the first beneficiary of whatever I did so far to bring changes in and around me in both professional as well as personal level. I always strongly believe Mahatma Gandhi ji who once said, be the change you want to see. And that's exactly what I want to be. And these three lines or the three pillars is what defines me as a person and what I do and what I have done so far and what I'm wanting to do in the future to come. You see, entrepreneurship is like a spiritual journey. Um, because it's a lonely journey yet spiritual because most people do not understand why do we want to take huge risks, work hard so hard and put ourselves through a roller coaster. Even today, if you go and ask my father, what do you want Srikanth to do? He would happily smile at you and say, I want him to get a government job and get married to a pretty girl. Of course, I was married to a pretty girl recently, but working for the government, working for someone else, let alone for the government, fills me with total dread. And that is why I became an entrepreneur. And I am sure most people who are in their 20s and 25s would be thinking about the same way that I think. Because, you know, there are many people, like the lot of movies we see, who believe on their stars, and they go according to their stars and their recommendations. But there is this 1% of the people who write their own destiny, and I strongly believe the destiny, the starting circumstances, it is what God gives us, but the destiny is in our own hands. The future is within us with just enough randomness to make things interesting and less predictable. Therefore, this 1% of the people who write their own destiny thinks in the same way that I do. And that is why I became an entrepreneur. I am such a rebel that no one would employ me because we as disruptors, want to have systems the way we like it, and the companies may not like it. That is why people like me should become entrepreneurs, take huge risks, and I'm sure they will enjoy the reward for the risk that they are taking. And I'm not saying this that this is going to be a cakewalk. Entrepreneurship itself, as I said, is a roller coaster ride. It comes with a lot of sacrifices. It comes with a lot of pains and sorrow moments. You see, unless we experience the pain, we don't we don't experience the sweetness. If you in my own career, the hardships that I faced so much of hardship in my life that it has become an addiction for me. I strongly believe we cannot create something by sitting in the lap of luxury. In fact, our brains are hardwired to produce our best efforts only when we face hardship. That is why it has become an addiction for me. But I also think if your response to challenges is to say bring it on, I am sure the whole world will conspire to help you succeed. This is why it is not an easy path, yet it is going to be a happy path for all of us to perceive and reach where we want to reach. You see, whatever you do, the first and foremost thing that we all need to forget, we all need to remember, is success should never get to head. The moment it gets to our head, that's when ego and arrogance takes takes a step ahead of our consciousness and beliefs, and that's the reverse turning for every entrepreneur. Second, we should not do anything that is, we should not do anything and everything which is over and above, which means we should take right growth at right time. Otherwise, we will face setbacks. You see, I always believe our personal experiences in life and in entrepreneurship often shape our journey. And I strongly believe experience at right age to right things is the most important thing. Otherwise, we won't achieve anything beyond simply breaking stones by hand all day. One example I'll give you. A person breaking stones in a quarry is definitely working much harder than any of us, be it entrepreneurs, be it employees, or be it business leaders. But her productivity is not enough for to fulfill our hunger meaningfully and let alone build something meaningful. That's because she's just doing this all day and without any exposure. So her talent of breaking stones won't take her anywhere. This is exactly what applies to all of us. Though we have talent, unless we have exposure and right network, right mentors, and right support at right time, we cannot achieve success in entrepreneurship. That is why having right mentors, right support, and right team in place is the key to success for any entrepreneur. And main thing is, every entrepreneur is highly visionary. Undoubtedly, it has to be. I don't blame the vision because we all need to have the bigger vision to drive things. But the vision should not be so laborious that we overdo than what we can, which lands up into problems. So this is one of the things that I personally have faced in scaling my own company. However, we had right support and right mentors and we were able to recover it. But not everybody can do it. That is why we have to consider all our parameters. Mainly, leveraging the growth is not a good idea. It is going to become a disastrous for any company. I, as an entrepreneur with my own personal experience, strongly believe we have to eat how much we can. We cannot overdo things and overeat and fill the stomach and break it. That means we should not think about crushing competition and land ourselves into problems. We have to have our own space and we have to build our own ecosystem in place so that automatically the competition falls behind you. But if we only aim at a competition and scale the company, that's not going to work out. I feel if we can just be self disciplined and be confident and be cautious about where we put in our money, where we invest ourselves, where we grow or where we plan to grow ourselves, if we can think about these parameters, I'm sure success is always with you. I feel the definition of success is seeing yes wherever you look, because success doesn't come to you easily. It's 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 something that we need to search for. Success is not there, it doesn't exist. We have to create it. That is when we will reach our final destiny. Basically, if you see, I believe we all start companies or we all do projects to fulfill our entrepreneurial spirit. In that journey, you may come across several of your mentors and supporters and well wishers. I'm no exception to that. When I had this vision of starting Bollant Industries in early 2012 to promote employment opportunities for people who are at the margins of the society or underprivileged or people with various disabilities, it was challenging, but I really had a great plan that could work, and that's how we have implemented with my co-promoter, and we have started a company to fulfill these missions. And also, from a business perspective, we looked at several industries, and packaging and paper being a very big industry, more than $30 billion industry at that point of time, growing at 15%, was not captured by a dominant player in the country. It was heavily fragmented, it was seasonal, it was boutique, so it was occupied with all cottage factories. So when I looked at these cottage factories, it was actually confusing, because the concept of a cottage industry is a terrible idea, because it is subscale, substandard, and low productive enterprise. But if you can't grow, you can't become efficient and innovate. And without efficiency and innovation, you will fall further behind. And that is how we got into this cottage industry and had been consolidating the entire cottage industry to build a big brand like the Dixie or the Solo of the United States in this particular field. Similarly, Tatas and Birlas are everywhere. For example, Tatas are there in salt, water, and everything, but they're not in paper and packaging. The concept of consolidating fragmented mom and pop units and cottage players is what really inspired Mr. Ratan Tata, I hope, to join hands and to be a well-wisher and to be a strong mentor to Bollant Industries through my well-wisher and my mentor and a lead investor. So that's how we were able to kind of attract him. And then that's what he once said in one of the interviews, I believe, post this, that I believe in entrepreneurs and their execution capabilities. This is the second thing. See, you might have wonderful and brilliant idea or a brilliant product which can change the world. But if you can't execute it properly, you will end up in disaster. So I, as an entrepreneur, strongly believe more than having innovation, the disruptive execution capabilities is what drives you forward. For example, I didn't have a new product in mind. I wanted to come into business in a most unorganized segment. That is a scary area. All these unorganized players are working with cash, no books, no balance sheets, and not paying taxes. They were using cash-based economic models. So it's nothing visible. It's not part of the economy. But if you can bring them somehow onto a structured platform, imagine the huge chunk of economy is going to improve. And that was the idea. And we took a lot of pain in getting into this field and organizing most of these players to come to digital markets, to come to white economy, to come to mainstream economy. And this is what is my disruption in bringing these people to the mainstream economy. And as far as products are concerned, in the market, people were willing to pay good price for aesthetically high quality paper and packaging products. But these people were not able to make them because they don't have right technology and right mindset and right skills and right equipment to manufacture such product. And we have taken the existing product, say a paper plate, which was made using flimsy materials and harmful plastics, and we have turned to other alternatives like palm leaf and regular leaf and recycled paper, municipal waste, and so on and so forth, and we made top class quality product. So our goal at Bollant Industries is to make top class, world class products by using people who are at the margins of the society. And when they join Bollant, they thrive and the company thrives too. And this is a very simple philosophy we work upon. And these are some of the things which catch not only Mr. Tata, but many investors who want to be a part of our journey and part of this, the bigger story of empowering people beyond this planet. And that is exactly what is driving us.